Hello and welcome to In the Court of the Wenton King. We're doing the 90s shows. We're still in 95 with an absolute gem. King Crimson on Broadway. It was Collector's Club number 5. Or 5 and 6 at the time. They decided because it was 2 CD it was going to count as 2 editions, but they obviously got rid of that because it was just confusing. It's a fantastic show. Part of the reason for that is it's actually a compilation of these shows on Broadway. I think they did 5 nights or 4 nights or whatever. I think the song part of the stuff, so the Baloo songs and that stuff, not so much the heaviness, are actually at their best here. So this is an actually killer one. Have a look at the VROOOM release as well, just before you order that though. These shows coincided with the release of the Beatles anthology, and so Adrian Belew performed Free as a Bird, or at least he performed the demo Free as a Bird, the John Lennon demo, so it didn't have all the lyrics on there, which is quite funny. But it's not on it. They didn't put it on this one. You had to wait until VROOOM to hear that, sadly. Apparently there were some issues with some of the stuff. There was a running band joke about what was the opening note of VROOOM. None of them could remember, or they're playing something wrong or something. It's 2 discs, obviously. I mean, they have to be 2 discs because these are quite long shows. The show opens with Conundrum, so it doesn't open with soundscapes. It's a drum duet, and maybe that's to emphasise the drumming nature of the double trio. And it's a thing, it goes back to the original lineup, that how important Michael Giles was to the sound of it, what he was doing. The drum duet at the start emphasises that it's a lot of this is about the drumming. Track 2 is Thela Hun Ginjeet, so they've gone back to opening with that. I don't think it's as good as some of the 80s versions. Again, the Discipline stuff tends to be very close to the album version, but Thela Hun Ginjeet was better elsewhere, actually. Obviously, by now they're using the real Thela tape rather than Baloo trying to say it. Track 3 is Red. As I said before, in the 90s, Bill's kind of subdued with Red, but the guitars sound fantastic, so they are great versions of Red. Track 4, Dinosaur. The definitive version of Dinosaur, I think. I think it is. Although there is the version on the Circus compilation, which might be the same version, I can't remember. So you could check and see which version's better, I don't know. Track 5 is VROOOM, and it's fast now, yeah. There's a minor flub from Baloo, actually, on this version. It's interesting. Misses his cue at the end. Maybe the running joke about VROOOM's opening note was that they didn't get a tight version of VROOOM finished, performed on those nights. Or maybe they chose that one because it's the most interesting one, or who knows. Track 6 is Frame by Frame. Controversial, the definitive version of Frame by Frame. That's the one. Yes, that one. Track 7 is Walking on Air. Great as always. And then track 8, here we go into Baboon. Very evil soundscapes it starts with. It's all gone a bit dark now. They're not doing it as fast as the Wilton, so when they're doing the stuff, but it has more menace, so maybe they went too fast with the Wilton. I think you can hear a proto-project vibe for the first time. It's the first time you can really hear that it sounds anything like the projects, I think. And then into THRaK. There's a really busy first bit of lots of drummy stuff. Maybe it's Pat Mastelotto letting off steam, that's what it sounds like. He's just going crazy. Then you've got the quiet bit and some sort of alien sounds, and really, really project test sustain. It's almost like sustains the track. And some electric double bass from Levin, which sounds really cool. And then marimba piano bit, very similar to what they're doing on the Wilton. And then the build-up the same as that, and then the proper THRaKking bit longer this time. And that's a really good one as well. That's a really good bit of THRaK. I suppose a careful but great THRaK. A careful THRaK, not a completely out there THRaK. Track 10 is Neurotica. And of course we don't reprise THRaK. We go into Neurotica instead. Yes. It's amazing it took them that long to decide to play Neurotica, because it seems so obvious to play it with the double trio. Awesome, jumpy, bouncy version. It's so good with the double trio. There's one better version on the CD still to come, which is even better. But yeah, the spoken word bit is a recording. He's not doing it anymore. Apparently triggered by Bill, supposedly. Then we got the final track of this one is Sex, Sleep, Eat, Drink, Dream. Maybe that's definitive, or maybe Mexico. That or Mexico is definitive, which is usually the case between those 2 shows. Disc 2, People. I think that's the best version of People, my opinion. That's a really good version. The band is just really tight. It's a great song. Track 2 is One Time. Classic song. It's the quiet song, obviously, so you get people in the audience shouting out song names, don't you? And someone famously, Baloo says, for a minute I thought you said Freebird then, because someone was shouting out Free as a Bird and they're shouting for Freebird. And that became a running King Crimson joke, and then people actually started deliberately shouting Freebird as a joke, which is kind of annoying in itself. That is more strange with the fact that the Free as a Bird isn't on this album. Detroit Style does not include it. Then we've got Indiscipline I mean, Billy's still finding interesting things to do with this. Now, the thing is, the vocals, they're really rushed. For the first line, it sounds like it's a joke, but then he does the whole thing like that. He just shoots through it like he just wants to get it over with. Maybe it was a curfew issue or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's never going to be as good as it was in the 80s, I don't think, so that's the way it goes. Improv 2 sticks. Some cool droning sounds, I think. That's the best way to put it. Elephant Talk, best version. Best version of Elephant Talk. I think better than the album version. That's right. Track 17, track 6 of disc 2 anyway, is Prism. And this is that's the other drum duet that they do. It's never very tight. Bill and Pat were never very tight, but then I mean the double trio aren't really that kind of thing. The 7-piece do seem to be considerably more tight, but they spent a couple of months rehearsing, I think. And also technology's moved on, so they can hear each other better, and etc. And then we got the talking drum, funk fingers. Dun, 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 dun. There's a lot to be said for Baloo's synth violin on that. I mean, I like that. I'm glad they do it. In a way, it's a shame when they perform Larks 2 without talking drum. There aren't that many versions of it available, actually, from the double trio. Then we have 3 of a Perfect Pair, which we haven't heard that much of, strangely. Vocals are really good in the 90s, so that's a great thing. It's kind of sloppy, though, at this point. The lumbering, six-headed Crimson Beast is playing it, and that doesn't really suit the song. That needs to be very tight and all that, you know. Which is a shame, because in every other way it should be the definitive version, but it's too sloppy. And they're probably playing it too fast as well. I'm not completely convinced about the synth guitar patch, but the vocals are so good, it's worth hearing. Then we have VROOOM and the Coda. It's a good version. And finally, Fearless and Highly THRaKked, so it's a bit of THRaK at the end, whether this was really an encore or not, or whether it's just a bit of another one stuck on. We got some Sustain from 4 guitars. Great end to a great album. That's a really good one. Recommended. See you next week.